This is the first part of the slides that I've given you. Okay, what do you notice so far? Griffin, go ahead.
It's one of Yoda's best clothes, and then it's Baby Yoda flying around.
Okay, anything else that you notice about what you have here on the carpet? Okay. Hold on to this while you're on the carpet, okay?
It's like Star Wars themed, and it's just Baby Yoda. Well, Yoda there.
Okay, so what do we think that the problem might be? That's what we want to think about while we're looking at some of these slides. So there are some math questions that we can answer here. So we want to kind of look and see what kind of math questions we might be able to answer. Okay, so now we've got another picture here. Okay, we also have Yoda and Baby Yoda or Grogu on the side. All right, so you could be thinking about some other things. All right, I'll call on people in after I show the next slide. Okay, now here is even more information. Okay, so what do we notice now? Okay, I'm going to look for hands at home. Kaisa, go ahead.
There's Yoda next to all the some of the different Star Wars characters. And it has like Luke Skywalker's height and Obi-Wan Kenobi's height and the other guy's height. It has everybody's height besides Yoda.
Okay, good. Can you hand it to Halen? All right, I'm going to call in Halen.
I think that the question we're going to try to be answering is how tall Baby or Yoda is, because it's giving us the heights of everyone, but not Yoda.
Okay.
I think that's what we're going to try to be answering.
Okay, good thinking. Anyone else have any thoughts about this so far before we go into our rooms? Okay, here's Torin. Torin's going to share some thoughts.
Test. She's also given us a clipboard, so I looked a bit ahead, and I think it's actually the size of both Yoda and Baby Yoda.
Okay.
Baby Yoda.
Okay, good thinking. Thank you. So we've got a lot of information here that you're going to be analyzing, and then I even have some questions at the end where I want you to think about some of other calculations that you could perhaps make. Okay, so you have a lot of information in what you've been given, and we're going to be thinking about what can you calculate, what information did I give you that's very helpful and what's not as helpful, and what other information could you use or do you need. And then finally, I've got some other questions here. So I'm going to go ahead and open up the breakout rooms, and in the breakout rooms, I would like for you to start thinking through some of these questions. I'm going to come around to each room, as well as the carpet is your own breakout room. Okay, are we ready? Okay, looks good. Yes? All right, let's start. Okay, so the breakout rooms are open.
Alright, I think I don't know.
Okay, go ahead and start.
Different heights, and like the best one I say is this picture because he's standing up and he's right there. But you can't see all of him.
I'm just going to...
Okay, so is everyone able to open up the information?
Yeah, I have it up.
Okay. Okay, now you are able to share screen. I just enabled that, so you should be able to share screen and get started, okay? I'll be back soon.
Kinda can, because I can't screen share.
Okay, sounds good.
Screen sharing.
But he might not because maybe his legs are super long.
Okay, so it looks like you're able to share screen. What are you thinking so far?
I just think his legs are a little...
If you go to slide 5, I tried to, it looks like that 2 Yodas equals 1 Count Dooku.
Okay. Okay. All right, how
He's farther back. It looks like he's leaning down, like he's squatting.
How could you know for sure? Without estimating, how could you get a better idea of how many Yodas make up 1 Count Dooku? Go ahead, Griffin.
You could just be told the height of him, or you could like measure the height of, like with a ruler,
Okay.
measure something on the screen
Okay, that's a good idea. All
and
right.
see what fraction of it is.
Okay, good thinking. I'll be back.
And then we,
Okay. All right, so let's talk about, I'm gonna talk to you all. What are you thinking so far?
I think, no, it shouldn't be 5.9. We should convert it into inches because
Oh yeah,
it's
so
not
5 times
9. 5 feet, 9 inches is not 5.9.
69 inches is how much he is.
Okay, how do you know it's 69 inches?
Because I did 5 times 12 in my head, and then I added, which is 60, and then I added 9 to that, and that's 69.
Okay, so when you're trying to, if you have the height given in feet and inches, you need to maybe put it just in all inches. That's what they're saying, okay?
69 divided by 12.
Okay, and then what are you doing with that information?
2.
Wait,
Well, we know how big Yoda is, and so thought that was how big Yoda was. If we did,
At 69, we have to convert also Yoda to inches as well. Yoda's, well, no, we don't.
yeah, it's
Okay, so you're, why 2?
because we estimated that he's like half of the height of Luke Skywalker.
Okay,
because in this picture, he goes down to his waist, and your waist is kind of like half.
okay, is there any way that you could, instead of estimating 2, is there any way that you could know for sure or closer?
If we had like a full picture of, if the picture where we saw Yoda on his back, it wasn't so cropped at the bottom, then we would definitely have a better estimate.
Do you have any other pictures that give you a fuller view of him?
This one,
Okay.
and it is all of Luke Skywalker, and Yoda's right here.
It looks
And
like two.
Yoda's like the size of his leg.
Okay. Okay, so you're saying that he's like the size of his leg, but how could you know exactly how big he was in comparison?
If they were both like next to each other and they weren't doing any sort of weird
If it
stuff.
was like this picture.
and Baby Yoda.
Okay, so in that picture of the Mandalorian and Baby Yoda, how can you see how many Baby Yodas equal the Mandalorian? Okay, I want you to think about other tools you could use. Okay, I'm gonna check on another group. You all are doing good, keep it up. Okay, is this group able to share your screen?
No, the Mandalorian's taller than that person.
Okay, are you able to?
Yeah, she's 5'1", I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Yeah.
Okay, how are you all doing so far?
So we're first trying to see how tall regular Yoda is,
Okay.
and I looked at the picture on slide 5, and it looks like Yoda is about 1/3 of the height. Is that from that guy?
Okay, so how did you estimate the third?
2 feet 10 inches because
Well, first I annotated and I got lines from the thing, and I put his head up to his hips, and then it looked about 1/3 of him.
Okay.
So I put another line higher, and that was about 1/3 of him.
Okay, so one of the other groups, I think they're using the same sort of strategy, but they got a ruler and they held it up to the screen. So that could be something that you could do too. Okay, so good work, and I will come check on you in a little bit.
or 1 centimeter.
Okie dokie.
So 2 feet 10
Okay.
Yoda's really short.
Well, yeah, he's only 50 years old. Duh.
All right, how are we doing?
Baby Yoda or
Respectful, okay.
You have to like his name.
All right,
We're working through it. We're just figuring some stuff out.
okay, and what are you doing to figure stuff out?
Well, first we look up the ages because we don't know if that would help us at all, but it really didn't.
Okay. So you're using this information about the height and arm length? Could be useful. Okay, and what is this going to help you with? You were given the heights of most of the people.
But we don't. But do we get the height of the Mandalorian?
Can you figure out the height of the Mandalorian?
We don't know the height of Baby Yoda, so I don't.
That's true, but you do know some other information. So I want you to think on this slide, all the information that you do have. This slide right here, all the information that you do have.
We have Ellie's, and that's it.
Okay, but you have them next to each other.
Yeah.
You could maybe figure out some
We
things.
can estimate that that the Mandalorian is like about the blue.
Okay, sounds like a plan. All right, I'll be back.
So guys, we can estimate.
So 5, 6.
Do you want a certain slide up there?
Probably like 5'8" or something.
Is there a certain slide you want me to put up there for you? Okay.
This one?
I'll do 5, 7.
Okay. All right, how are y'all doing? Good?
We've gotten a good like estimate around of Yoda's height.
Okay.
So now
So
we
how
think
did you
about
come?
Baby Yoda.
All right, how did you come up with the estimate of Yoda's height?
So it's around like 35-ish around there. Because stayed with the normal like half the height estimate because that's pretty close anyways, and I got 34.5 inches.
Okay.
Now then, we know that's not exact, but it's close.
Okay. I agree.
4.5 inches for Hill.
He's like 230 feet.
What?
That's
I
for
got
Yoda?
34, I think close to that answer. And then I not rounded it, but I converted it into feet, and I got 2 feet and 10 inches.
Sounds about right for Yoda.
Yeah, and
Okay.
that sounds right.
We're still doing
What would that look like?
This big. No, so I'm like
So,
4 foot.
Are there rulers in the classroom?
There are.
It's a math classroom. Do you think there might be a ruler somewhere? They're back there. All right. So that could help us. It says it's a bin that says rulers. Yep. Okay. So maybe this could help you to visualize the different heights. Okay.
2. So this is 2 foot, and then 5 inches would be 10 inches. Oh, 10 inches. That's right.
Okay. How is everyone doing in this group?
I think Yoda is is about
2.2 or 2.4.
I don't know. I forgot.
Okay. And how did you figure that out? Okay. How did you figure that out?
Yeah. Look at that picture. He barely goes up to
Luke Skywalker, we kind of estimated it, and like we thought he would go on him like 2 or 3 times. Like he would stack up.
He estimated that Yoda probably fit inside him about
don't put this in.
well, 2 to 3 times. So
Okay.
about 2.
I forgot though.
Okay. Good thinking. So did you convert the heights of the people to just inches?
So, because she's 5'1", that's not, but that's probably like.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, so if, for example, Luke Skywalker is 5'9", then how many inches is that? Just inches.
I think 5'8", or like 5'7". No, Mander's too tall to be 5'8".
So like 5, 7.
This is how tall the old Yoda is.
Okay.
And I believe that because I've seen.
Okay, I'm gonna talk to them right now, and then I'll talk to you guys in a second. Okay. I want you to look at the questions on the last page. All right. So if you have 5 feet 9 inches, then you need to think about how many inches are in 5 feet, and then add the 9 inches, and then that can help you to calculate the height of anything else in the picture. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So how much is 5 feet 9 inches?
Based on the information you've been given, what can you calculate?
It's point 10.
Okay. So 12.
That they don't show Mando's height.
Okay. What other information do you need?
69.
Very good.
Yours extended.
Okay. So if you know that that's how tall Luke Skywalker is,
Can you?
and you think that Yoda is like half or 1/3, then you can take that and find half or 1/3 of it. Okay. And that could help you. But you're on the right track. Good job.
each of these dynamic markings, right? We have pianissimo, which means what? Very soft. You got it. Piano is soft, and then mezzo piano is medium soft. Mezzo forte, medium loud, forte, loud, and fortissimo. Yes. So we have a bunch of all these different activities or sounds, and it's going to be our job now to determine if we think some of them are loud or soft or very loud or moderately loud, things like that. So I'm going to let our friends at home real quick. We're going to let them go first. And I would like, when it's your turn, you are going to pick one of those blue boxes and read what it says, and then I want you to drag and drop it onto the circle that you think is appropriate. So I'm going to give you an example. Okay? There's one right down here that says whispering, right? So for me, I think that whispering, is it working? Here we go, come on now, is a very quiet activity, right? So let's have Michael. You're going to choose any one of the other boxes, and I want you to drag it to where you think it belongs, right? So we should be able to see Michael. There he is. He's right down here. And if you tap it and you see the little boxes around it, you should be able to hold down and then drag it. Okay? All right. So in the meantime, I just realized we can do this simultaneously. Isa, I've sanitized this pen for you. I want you to go up and choose. You can leave it on, or just drag it, up to you. All right, I want you to pick one of the boxes, and I want you to drag and drop it where you think it belongs. Okay? So, just like I did. Are you having trouble, Michael? Oh, there you go, you got it. Nice. All right, so rock concert, okay, you have to kind of hold down at the top, I found. Nope, that's just making it bigger. Oopsie. Oh no, here, let me help you.
You can just do Control-C and it undoes it.
Yeah. All right, so see where I'm holding right here? Oh. See, like that. Okay. So let me wipe it off for you. There you go. Uh-huh. Okay. All right, so Isa thinks that rock concerts are very loud. Would you guys agree? Yeah, what about you guys at home? Would you agree that rock concerts are very loud?
Yes.
I agree too. Now, here's the thing you need to know, right? What you think is very loud may not feel very loud to other people, right? So our interpretation of things can be different, and that's okay. And that's the neat part about dynamics, is dynamics are relative. So when you're playing all by yourself, loud, let me get the camera for the people at home, right? Loud can be here, and soft can be here, right? But then you're playing with a big group, and loud is going to need to be here, and soft is going to need to be down here, because you have more people in a big group, right? So your soft can be louder when you're playing by yourself, but not so much when there's a lot of people. Carter, cover your nose, please. Thank you. All right, so it is perfectly fine if you see somebody move one of these and they disagree, right? Because the interpretations can be all different. Okay, Vita, I'm going to let you pick now. Okay? We're going to try and move a little bit faster. And while you're picking, Gustavo, I want you to click on one of the boxes and drag and drop it where you think it belongs. They're all the ones that are around the outside perimeter.
Does that work?
Yep. Okay? So Vita thinks that fireworks are very loud. Okay? All right? And Gustavo thinks that amusement parks are very loud. Okay, let's have Alex. Why don't you pick one? And in the meantime, Carter, let's let you come and choose. Okay. There you go. Be careful when you set it down. Sanitized for your use. Okay. Let's see. Maybe pick one that's not loud. Okay. Okay. So, Alex, did you move dog barking? Was that yours?
No.
Oh, okay.
I just move it to where do I just move one to where I think it should go?
That is absolutely correct. That is absolutely correct. So Carter just moved tiptoe across the floor to pianissimo. So he thinks that that's a very soft thing. Okay? Let's go ahead and see how many of you can do this at the same time. So those of you that did not have a chance that are at home, right? So Camilla and Jada and Lamia and Lachlan and Nathan, I want you guys to go ahead and grab one and drag it over. Okay? Don't fight too hard for ones that somebody else grabs, though. All right, we still need, let's see, Kylie, it's your turn. Okay, and then we have Henry, and then we'll be good to go. Lay it flat so that it doesn't fall down. Okay. No, I would prefer not. I know, yeah, that was the one I was wondering. Okay. So the bacon sizzling and this one, the ones that are around the edges are ones that have not been done yet. Okay. Mm-hmm.
What's a hybrid car?
A hybrid car is a car that it runs on electric and gas, so it's not 100% silent, like my car is hybrid. So that means that sometimes when I'm driving, like in a parking lot especially, sometimes if I'm right behind somebody, they don't even know I'm there, and it kind of, they kind of get scared. It's like, sorry that my car's not noisy. Okay, Henry, your turn. Let's see what we have left here. There you go. Okay. Let's see what you got. Okay. Okay. Oh, it's because you're highlighting the stuff, so it's okay. Try it at the top. There you go. That one. Now it'll work. Okay. Okay. Okay, thank you. Alrighty. So those of you that are at home, did everybody get a chance to move one? Yes? No? Maybe? Okay, unmute yourself if you have not had a chance to move one to its appropriate place yet. Going once, going twice. All right, so Miss Beres is going to move some too. Okay, I think, since I have a hybrid car, I think that hybrid cars, they're not very quiet, but they're pretty quiet. All right, because sometimes the gas part of the engine kicks in. All right, and Harley Davidson motorcycle. I think, and remember, this is just my opinion, I think that they're not very loud, but they're definitely loud, right? Because when you think about it, a motorcycle, it's loud, but it's not as loud as the dining hall and lunchtime, is it? You guys, no? Come on. Well, wait until you see when we have a big new cafeteria next year. It's going to be loud in there. Yes?
Can I get water?
You may get water. Thank you for asking. Okay. And then I'm going to do one more. I'm going to say working on a jigsaw puzzle is quiet, but I don't think it's very quiet, because if you think about it, working on a jigsaw puzzle, it may not make a lot of noise moving pieces around, but if you're working on a jigsaw puzzle with someone, right, sometimes you talk with them as you're working on it, so it's not completely quiet, but it's pretty quiet. Okay, so do we get the idea of how this is going? Perfect. So now what we're going to do is we're going to move on to our next activity. Our next activity is our warm-ups, and this time, when we do the I play, you play exercises, we're going to incorporate some dynamics, right? So that means if I play it soft, then you play it soft. And if I play it loud, then you play it loud. Fair enough? Yeah. All right. So today is an even day. So we're going to start with number 2.02. Okay, 2.02. Here we go. All right, let me give you just a second, but we need to move a little bit quickly so that we can get to all of our things for today. Okay. Okay, you almost ready, Carter? All right. All right, now instruments up so that I know you're ready to play. Okay, 2.02, here we go. 1, 2, my turn first. Your turn. My turn. Your turn. Okay, so I'm going to ask you a question. When you played the 2 times, did they sound different? Like, was one quieter than the other? Yeah? You sure? No. Let's try it again. Let's try it again, okay? I want you to, whatever exactly how I play it is how I want you to play it, right? Here we go. 1, 2, ready, and. Your turn. Good, my turn. Your turn. There you go. Now that was much better because the second time, did I play it louder or softer than I played it the first time? Louder. I absolutely did play it louder, but here's the thing that you guys need to know. What you hear and what the audience hears when you play something for them is not necessarily the same thing. So you have to exaggerate the difference between your loud and your soft. Okay? So you're going to probably think that, oh my gosh, Miss Beres, that's too soft, but it's probably going to be just right. Okay? Or you might think that you're playing way too loud, but it's probably just right. So don't be afraid to play really loud, especially, right? Because most of the time, it's just right. Okay, so let's look at the next one and see if we can do the next one same way. All right, 2.04. 2.04, here we go. 1 and 2, and ready and go. Your turn. Okay, let's stop. Let's try that one more time. Excuse me. Because I think somebody's eyes glanced up at the wrong exercise, right? So we're on 2.04. Here we go. Let's try it again. 1, 2, my turn first. Your turn. Okay, my turn. Your turn. Oh my gosh, that's such a much bigger difference than when you guys showed between soft and loud before.
Today we are doing a high flex modified immigration fishbowl discussion. So here's what you need. I think most of you guys have it out already. You need all of the notes you took from your sources in your IG, a good attitude and critical thinking. I'm going to go over the rules again. I've modified some of the rules from the last time we did the fishbowl so that we can make sure that it's completely clear to us what we are going to do, all right? So this is being shared. All right, so let's go ahead and look at what we are doing and remind everybody of the rules. Now, the big idea of this particular activity, it is to kind of practice our semester-long practice of argumentation through global issues in a practical space. So we know how to do argumentation for essays and paragraphs, but also what does argumentation look like when you're actually talking about these issues among people, all right? So that is our point of doing this. As always, my job is not to teach you what to think, but how to think, all right? In this exercise, I'm gonna ask you to engage in a civil manner, a respectful manner, albeit passionately. So you can still be passionate and be respectful, all right? And base it on the sources given inside of class and outside of class, all right? So let's go ahead and look at the rules for the discussion. Everybody must participate for a test grade. To pass, you need to meaningfully comment at least 4 times and make it span across 3 questions. That just means that you can't get all of your 4 comments in one question exactly and then leave. You can't get all of them in one question, at least through 3 questions. You should answer questions about sources that you thoroughly watched or read. So don't just try to get a point and just sit in somewhere and you know that you didn't read that source or you didn't watch that source. You want to make sure that it's something that you actually have something to talk about. Do not pontificate or monopolize the conversation, okay? So everybody is having a discussion. If you feel yourself going long, you're probably going long, okay? Sometimes you in an effort to want to do it, you repeat over and over again. So please try not to do that or cut people off. Number 4, if you're outside of the talking circle, so that would be anybody that's not here or anybody that's not tapped in Digital Academy. If you're not in the talking circle, you should be paying attention. Even though some of you guys have some of your notes on your phone, when people are talking, you should be looking at them, okay? Or that you will have points that are off, all right? Another thing that you want to make sure is that you can ask people questions, not to stump them, but you can ask them questions like, wait, but how can you say that when blah, 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 all right? The point of this exercise is not just to answer the question correctly, but you want to meaningfully discuss as mature young adults and analyze the text or the source. If 2 questions pass and people have not said anything, or if they've already spoken once, they can be tapped out, okay? So if somebody is sitting here, if CJ is sitting here and he's been silent for 2 questions, he can be tapped out. Or if Jasmine spoke once, Jasmine can be tapped out after that one time. For brick and mortar students, you tap out people by actually tapping the desk, not touching them, all right? As long as they are not talking, you can tap them out, not in mid-sentence, and you can tap them out, all right? For Digital Academy, you tap in by pressing the raise hand button and then typing in the chat who you would like to tap out, all right? And we're gonna go ahead and keep going. All right, last directive. 3 people should start in the talking circle. So right now I need 3 people in Digital Academy. It looks like I have that already. If you're in the talking circle, Digital Academy, your camera should be off. If you're not in the talking circle, if you are in the talking circle, your camera should be on, all right? Again, Digital Academy, you tap in by raising your hand and typing in that you want to be there. Now we have some jobs. We have 2 cameras now, so we may not need this job, but we're gonna have a job for the Digital Academy. It is called the queue manager. So if somebody is really into their discussion and they don't see that they're tapped out in the chat, you can interrupt and say, tapped out, who wants to be my queue manager? Who wants to be my queue manager? All right, Jewel, I'm gonna go ahead and give that to you, Jewel. So if somebody is passionately talking and they do not see in the chat that they're tapped out, you can interrupt and just say, someone's being tapped out, and then they can look in the chat, all right? We are gonna go ahead and continue with our first question. This first question is going to be for our brick and mortar students, all right? It says, for the George Lopez Show episode, Fishing Cubans, consider the following essay prompt and how you would use it as evidence for or against. 1, to what extent does comedy have the capacity to address important issues? This conversation should start briefly with the type of essay it is, any keywords that are important and need defining, and which words are freedoms and limits. And then you could tell me, how would you use this comedy show that we watched as evidence for this prompt? And you guys are talking to each other, not me. you guys can go.
So the first thing I noticed was to what extent, obviously, as discursive.
Yes.
It does say comedy have a capacity to address important issues. It's not stating what type of issues or what like genre. So
That's a freedom.
that is.
And then I feel like the capacity is a important part of the prompt, and that would be involving like how much does comedy have an impact on important things like issues, like for say that this episode specifically talked about immigration, and yes.
I feel like that prompt has more to do with media because comedy run through television shows, YouTube, things like that. And usually when world problems happen, people want to either try to express their feelings towards it in other ways.
Well, in the George Lopez show, they used comedy to bring up those sensitive topics that were important at that time, and I felt like I could follow it more than I would be sitting in a classroom, only because I felt with it. It made me laugh. You know, I could understand it, understand the joke.
But that can also lead to misled information.
I feel like
comedy, haven't had milk since 1959.
69.
No, it's 59. 1959.
Okay. I feel like comedy is like an easy way for people to digest hard problems, like the oppression that they faced from Castro in Cuba, like how they would not let any people leave the borders to go back to America, showed like the way George Lopez went throughout the episode and how he was trying to make light of the situation, like, oh yeah, we're just going on a boat, and then getting there, cracking jokes to make the situation lighter, accidentally picking up the Haitians. It showed a real situation and what people really have to go through a fun comedy sense, and I feel like that helped people understand, like, oh, like this is a real problem. It's like, yes, it's not funny, but it's at the same time, it's like it helps people process what's going on.
That it's real and that, you know, people every day are going through scenarios where they're trying to leave their country for a better life.
Escape prosecution.
Yeah, and it also states about the immigration policy at the time.
Or persecution, that's what I meant, persecution.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. We're going to go to good discussion. Thank you very much. We are going to go to Digital Academy Rapid Fire. There is a timer that is on. Whenever you hear that timer goes off, that means that you're going to stop. If the timer goes off in the middle of your statement, that does not affect your grade. That's just so we can move it along. I can always tell where you guys were about to go. All right, now we have rapid fire. We need 3 people in Digital Academy. We have a little bit more than 3. So I see Kai's hand is up, Jules' hand is up, and Jaden. So everybody else, please go ahead and turn off your cameras. All right, and this is going to be rapid fire. There is 1 minute and 30 seconds on the clock.
Miss Harris, what's the question at the bottom? There's like a black box and...
All right, you can see it now?
No. Okay, yeah, now, okay.
Can I start? Is that okay? So I think comedy has the capacity to address, like what Jasmine was saying, really difficult issues in a way that more people who are not experiencing it can relate to it and can like put it more to like a person. Like they can see that real people are going through this and the real things that they have to like joke about to cope with what they're actually facing. And yeah, okay, next.
Along with what Kai was saying, one of the things that stood out to me was the fact when they were on the boat and then they saw the patrol people and they just started freaking out. And then also when they made a joke about Castro and one of the guys acted like Castro in the end and they all like started fighting him. That's one capacity. And but I think like a limit is like if you are not, what am I trying to say? If you are not of that culture, you can't make those type of jokes. And like you have the freedom if you are a part of that culture to make those jokes.
Okay, yeah, I understand what you're saying, Jaden.
George was Mexican.
Well, first, I think it's discursive, but I do feel like the comedy that they provide, I think that they're trying to bring attention to it, but
You can finish your statement. Finish your statement.
Okay. I'm just saying that they're trying to do it very lightly, where it doesn't come off so harsh that it makes people want to stop viewing it, and it try to engage with the audience to make them see out the problem and see the whole episode, and not just stop when it becomes too difficult to handle.
Good, thank you very much, all right? So we're gonna go ahead and move to the next one. Thank you guys very much. All right, so the next question is gonna be for Digital Academy, and then it's gonna be brick and mortar rapid fire, okay? So let's go ahead and move on to the next question. All right, this is called the Ancient Discussion on Immigration. Let me go ahead and switch that camera so that you guys can see me. All right, hello. The Ancient Discussion on Immigration. It says the three major religions discuss immigration in their holy texts. The Judeo-Christian tradition has a scripture that says, "The alien who resides with you shall be to you as the citizen among you. You shall love the alien as yourself, for you are aliens in the land of Egypt. I am the Lord your God," Leviticus 19:34. This also says, "Cursed is anyone who withholds justice from the foreigner, the fatherless, or the widow." Then all the people shall say amen. And then in Islam, in the Quran, it says, "Was not the earth of God spacious enough for you to flee or refuge? As for the helpless men, women, and children who have neither the strength nor the means to escape, God may pardon them. Surely God pardons and forgives. Those who migrate for the sake of God shall find many places for refuge in the land of abundance." The question here is, why do you think this issue of migration and immigration persists throughout history to the point that you see this discussion even in religious text? Why do you think that this conversation has persisted throughout time? You guys can tap people in or tap people out. If they've already spoken already, they can tap in and out, and then they can come right back in. And you can start.
Was it for us or
The Digital Academy.
Yeah, this one's Digital Academy. Is going to be rapid fire for you all.
Right now?
So Digital Academy first, okay? Digital Academy?
Okay, I'll go. I think, so, let's see. Talking about immigration and migration specifically, people focus more on the ideals of nationalization rather than to be an individual and to be a human. So they focus on themselves and their own culture rather than the betterment of the human populace. And in religion, it tries to tackle that issue, talking about how as a human we're more close to each other than we could ever truly comprehend, but our countries, our own ideals, our specific individual perceptions have caused us to treat others as outsiders rather than people.
This question was kind of confusing to me, but I think it still persists throughout history because there's just so many different cultures and religions that people. I had what I wanted to say, but I don't know how to say it.
You guys can help each other out if you want to. You can always help each other out.
I think that it still persists throughout history because there hasn't been, it hasn't been solved yet. There's still all these people. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Someone help me out.
People hold stronger to their own national ideals, stronger to the culture than they do to being able to help other people.
Yeah.
Seeing others as outside rather than just as a human, someone who needs help.
Yeah, and exactly. And when you look at it as that, it just makes it more difficult to make it. Go ahead, Gianna. Say what you gotta say.
It's like they put limits on everybody else when in reality we're all supposed to be coming together. Like the Islam,
the Quran
said that we have all this space to be free. Why are we limiting everybody else around the world for refuge and stuff like that? It's kind of rude in a sense.